What is going on, beautiful people? Today's interview is going to be a podcast episode with uSAYbFLOW. I'm so excited to have this guy on, and I'm very privileged to call him a friend. He is one of Dubstep and Riddom's most up-and-coming DJs right now. He's absolutely slaughtering it. In my opinion, he's already a top 3 Riddim DJ. So people know him for his very aggressive music and mixing style, both from a production side as well as his DJing. It's some of the most crazy shit you've ever seen in your life. What he is very much known for is his quad drop videos, for example, and then obviously his mixes where he takes a bunch of quad drops and puts them all into an hour-long mix called the Headbangers Only mix series, and you're basically just getting fucked for an hour straight. So it's really fun if you're into that kind of music. It would be probably a nightmare if you weren't. P.S. If you don't know what a quad drop is, it's when you play 4 different songs all at the same time on a mixer. And it's insane. He is one of the masters at this, and it's partially why he is blowing up so much right now. Now, most people know him for his musical skill, but what I think he doesn't get enough recognition for is how much of an incredible soul this man is. He is such a sweetheart. He is so genuine. He is so caring. He is so respectful. I love who this man shows up as a human and as a soul, much more even than what I appreciate from him musically. So we get into that more, and man, I'm just amped. I'm amped to have this incredible human on this podcast today. First and foremost, human. And by the way, we talk about all types of things throughout this. It's just a nice long-form jam session. And we talk about the process of how to make incredible quad drops, as well as what he's doing to make them even better going forward. We talk about how he handles disrespect if it comes up. We talk about being respectful to other people. We talk about why he's such a good human being, how he's balancing production, DJing, and a job all at once, who inspires him the most in both production and the DJing, as well as him becoming friends slowly but surely with all of his inspirations and what that's like. We chat about his thoughts on talent versus skill. We cover our shared teenage passion of YouTube gaming and trickshotting, and also how he applies things he learned from a decade ago to make his processes for social media and other stuff easier and better in the current time. We cover gathering attention, social media growth hacking, the origins of his love of music, as well as the origins of raving and DJing, what he's sacrificed to pursue his current goals, what those goals are going forward, or at least some of them, and just a ton more. If you're a big fan of uSAYbFLOW, I think you'll really appreciate this, because I try to uncover as much as possible that's not talked about beyond the music, because there's a big focus on his social media about the music, but I wanted to uncover who he is and why he is the way he is, as well as some of his processes behind his work. Quick housekeeping, by the way, my video failed. I apologize. So you're just gonna see his video as well as the audio between us. Yeah, I fucked up. It is what it is. And if you're watching this and enjoying this, would love if you could press the like button below. It helps me support the channel, and subscribe if you haven't already to get more long-form optimism-based content, as well as comment below what your biggest takeaway is, or your favorite parts, or whatever's speaking to you as this interview goes on. Appreciate that tons. P.S. If audio is more convenient for you, be sure to search this title and or just Josh Moxie uSAYbFLOW on a podcast app of your choice, and this audio interview will definitely be there as well. With that being said, I hope you enjoy this long-form podcast with none other than uSAYbFLOW. Daniel, uSAYbFLOW, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. How are you today?
I'm good. A bit tired because I finished work earlier, but we're here.
We here. Let's go. Actually, do you want to jump right into that? And you are working at Good Life currently, right?
Yeah.
And you are what are you at Good Life?
So I'm what they call a motivator. So basically I work at the front. I do the front desk stuff, but because of this whole COVID thing, it's now split into 3 different roles. So my main role is a greeter. So I'm like the guy at the front that's checking everyone in and all that.
Beautiful. Yeah, shout out Good Life and those people especially, because like
Yeah.
they are super kind when we're walking in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But how are you finding this ability to balance the many things going on at once right now? So for you, you've got Good Life and you've got producing and you've got mixing.
Yeah.
What is that like for you, and how are you doing that?
So like for me, it's like my main passion, like out of both DJing and production, is definitely DJing for sure. But I realized that if I want to take it to the next level, I gotta produce. I gotta make my own tunes, right? Like, and make my own original tracks. And that's what I started doing. With like Miles and things like that whole Quadrants EP. Everyone seemed to love it. So I'm not like one of those producers that's sitting on like 80 like IDs or whatever, like, like sitting on so many like works in progresses that, may not get released. But because for me, it's like when it comes to making a track, it's I want to finish that track. Like I can't like jump from one to another. But okay, that was kind of off topic, but
No, it's an important.
Yeah.
I was actually going to go further on that track if
Yeah.
you're down to go with that. Like,
Yeah,
what do you struggle to start something and not finish it?
Yeah, like sometimes, like for me, when it comes to producing, I have to be in a certain headspace. Like I don't like to force myself, especially when it comes to producing, not like even DJing as well. Um, but yeah, like some days, like I would go maybe 1 or 2 hours in the studio, like on FL Studio or whatever, and then I don't go back on it for like a month. Like it's very like off and on. I do love it, but it's not like my top thing. But I'm starting to love it each and every single time that I'm going back to the program. So it's a work in progress, I feel like. But yeah.
That makes a ton of sense. So out of the two, DJing is definitely your favorite.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Where did the love of that originate? Whether that's let's go back actually all the way.
Yeah.
Where did your true love of music come from? Did you grow up with music a lot? What was your?
Yeah, like what I recall is like I don't like because I was listening to music, but I never really had like one specific genre. When I got into like the whole Call of Duty scene and things like that, and like yeah, see, because he knows.
Yeah, and I let me just quickly give some context to people that are watching. uSAYbFLOW and I were both part of what's called like the trick shotting community. We were both doing gaming, but at not just like we loved gaming. We took it to the next level and did YouTube for gaming. And it's funny because you told me that you were part of TGN, and like I was hovering around those types of teams as well, and I like knew that you were a part of you told me Tex, and I understand Tex Clan as well. Like, so shout out to all those teams back in the day. But yeah, so bro, even back then you had the gamer tag like the dubstep mix. What the fuck?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's crazy how it went full circle like that. But yeah, it was funny. I was just like, yeah, because back in the day, if you had a name like that was that like quote unquote like clean looking,
OG.
then, yeah, OG, exactly. That's the word. Yeah, like I forget the terminology, like, but that was like back in the day. That was like a hot name. Like I got like friend requests on friend requests for having a name like that. Like it was crazy.
That's hilarious. So wait, at the time, and sorry, let me go back to, you said I derailed us for a second. We were going to go and talk about the original part of where your music love came from.
Yeah.
So you said, sorry, go. Yeah.
No, it's okay. So basically, yeah, like I never had any specific like genre that I really liked. Like I was kind of, hip hop, rap, pop, anything along that line. But then, like I said, when I got into like the whole trick shotting scene and things like that, I got introduced to like people like the like Logic, people like Moosh and Twist, for people that have been in that scene, know those like underground rappers that would be in those like trick shotting kill feed episodes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like Moosh and Twist, Logic, Hoodie Allen, like people like that. I really started getting into like rap and hip hop. And even to that, like even now, like 10 plus years later, I still listen to like old school Logic. Like it just brings back so many memories. but yeah, that's where it originally started, and then I kind of drifted off. Like when I went into high school, I met a few friends that I still know today that brought me to my first like rave, like concert, whatever.
How old were you at the time? Like what
Oh,
grade?
I was grade 10, grade 11, something like that. I think it was like 2016, maybe 2015.
Shout out.
Yeah.
So what was your first event?
My first event I think was Veld 2014, I think.
Classic. This is the one with like Dead Mouse, right?
I
And
think so.
Cascade, something like that.
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
even really remember it, to be honest, but like,
Okay.
yeah, like the
It.
one. Yeah. What? Sorry, you were gonna say something.
I was just gonna say, what is your memory like? Do you have a good memory or decent memory? Like, what's it like?
Not really. I just remember like, like any rave, there was a lot of people. I just remember the loud music. Like there wasn't really anything special about it, but it was my first event, like my first like smaller event. It was Mount Woozy 2015 with Dubs and like DJ Carnage and Timmy Trumpet and all these people that I really like fell in love with like the whole like just production side of things, like the pyro and the LED and things like that, and like being that center of attention, you
Mm.
know. So yeah, kind of just stemmed off from there. But
So
yeah,
when you were at this event, you said the center of attention. Did you want to be the center of attention in that aspect?
yeah, because like ever since I was younger, like I've always been like, even now I'm still like introverted and very like not around a lot of people. So I felt like it was very empowering, and it still is, you know what I mean, to be that person that's controlling all these people's bodies, like with just, mixing and
That's a
stuff like
very
that.
cool way of looking at that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So wait, back in the day, were you at, like you said you were more introverted in nature?
Yeah.
Were you like a shy kid? Like what were you like as a kid?
I was a very shy kid. I didn't really do too well in school. I did all right in school, but like just my mentality was just trying to impress like girls back then, and I was just like that was the only thing on my mind. But then sometimes it would go to school, but most of the time it'd be like just women and well girls at that time, and it was like I don't know. It was so funny, but yeah, that's how I was, and I still am like that to be honest.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate you sharing that. Yeah,
yeah,
like I feel like we might like change the way we do that in a certain way. So the how we like will be motivated by girls changes, but it's still like it's a very innate thing that we can't really just get rid of.
yeah,
Like it's for me personally, very motivated by women. So I
yeah.
100% get that. Um, so the music side, after you went to your first rave, you were like, oh my god, this is so cool. I can do all these types of things that I hadn't been able to do before in terms of
Yeah,
I could control a crowd, I could entertain all these people.
yeah.
What led you? What was your first moment of like, wait, I actually like am gonna take this DJ thing and potentially go somewhere with it? What were the
Like,
steps that led to that?
yeah, like for me, it was after that dub show, it kind of just like slowly built up to me buying my first like system. Um, I don't know what it was, man. Like it was just like it was one of those things that was just like unexpected, and I didn't even really notice it till like I bought my first machine. But then it was like not until like maybe 3, 4 years ago when I started uploading like mixes on YouTube, and then like my first video, my first mix ever has like when it first hit like 100 views, like I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, and then I was like, yeah, I got to keep doing this. I got to keep doing this. And then the views just kept going up. I was like, bro, this is crazy. Like, I don't know. It's a weird experience, but it's a good weird. It's a good weird,
Mm.
you know.
And we were actually before we were talking, we decided to quickly just do some sound tests and all that type of jazz. And you
Yeah.
said it was only in the last like year or so they started really like going hard on the dubstep. Talk
Yeah.
more about that.
Yeah, like funny enough, like I think I got introduced I think the first song was actually introduced to me by my ex, funny enough. And then like that from there, like as I remember it was nighttime, and I think she showed me like I think it was an Excision song. I forget what Excision song it was. But after that, like I always knew about dubstep, obviously like old school Skrillex and things like that, of course, right? like the
Absolutely.
classics.
Especially with the Call of Duty community. We
Oh yeah,
loved
of course. Oh
like
yeah, like
oh god, back like rock and roll, for example, is like my favorite
yeah.
OG
Oh
Skrill
yeah.
track.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah.
so good.
But it's like, yeah, I kind of just stemmed off from there, and then it kind of spiraled into what I am today. It's yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And that's a phrase you also love a lot. Life is crazy, right?
Life is crazy. It
Where
works in mysterious ways.
yeah, and that was that was the other thing I had written down here. Life works in mysterious ways, and life is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Where, at what point did you decide that this is like a big truth for you? Because I hear you say it very frequently. It's a very
Yeah.
like part of who you are type of thing. So what does that mean to you? Those phrases.
Life is crazy. It's just like it's a bundle of like just a bunch of emotions. Like especially like when I upload like a mix to YouTube or like the quad drop things that I always upload, and then I see like all these numbers and like all these big DJs like just retweeting it or commenting on it. Like yesterday I had like Squinto like retweet my most recent like quad drop video that I posted, and then that led to Cod Dubs following me on Twitter, and then he commented on it, and like it's like, and then the one before that, like I had Company uh retweeted as well, and then that led to like Proto Hype saying that he absolutely hates DJ videos, but this one actually got him hype. So it's just like a collection of all these moments and like all the messages that I get from my supporters like daily saying like I'm their inspiration and stuff like that. It's like I don't know, man. Like I dreamed about this like for years, and then for it to actually happen, it's so. That's why I say life is crazy, because it's like I don't know. It's just a combination of everything that I'm feeling at the time. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot, but it's good though. I like it.
That's gangster. Yeah, bro. I'm really happy for you, and watching all the progress is just it's so beautiful to watch it unfold.
Thanks,
Like
man.
I love it so much. Okay, so there was one thing I wanted to touch on in there.
Yeah,
Um, growth hacking. You are, I think you're like a very subtle and underrated growth hacker. Like your climb is very like consistent, and with every video you put out, you're growing just a little bit more. Like, what is your strategy behind the way you're treating your social media across
yeah,
all the channels right now? Because there's a lot more that's going on that people are paying attention to.
yeah.
I think, at least.
Yeah. So the way that I do it is like a lot of people ask me, is it like a secret sauce or like a secret recipe or something that I do? But it's really just like the way that I do it is just I use a lot like for Instagram, I use hashtags. Like I use a lot of hashtags. And that's what led to Riot 10 noticing me. That's what led him to that was like the first big moment where like a big artist like of that like size messaged me, or he didn't message me, he commented on my Instagram video because of the hashtag that I put. And also it's like just timing, like when I upload things. I don't like to upload like in the morning because you know everyone's at work or whatever doing their thing. But my main time is like a time like this, like 4 o'clock, 3:30. You know, people are just coming home, stuff like that, and just scrolling through their phone. Um, and my videos, yeah, like the short ones, I feel like obviously nowadays, you know, teenagers and, you know, 20s and 30s, their attention spans like this, right? So to have something quick and simple like that with the effects that I do, and lately my visuals as well to add on to it, is I feel like what people love. And like that's why I've been kind of straying to more swaying towards the rhythm side, because I know rhythm gets a lot of people hyped, and just like the delayed drops, and then oh yeah, it's just a combination of everything. But yeah, those are my hacks, quote unquote.
I like it. So with a quad drop, for example, can you take us through what your process is from start to finish with that? Like,
Yeah.
how do you select the songs to all the way to I am posting this right now?
So the way I like to do it is, let's say a song comes out, let's say it's like, or like a song that I've had in the past that I've heard. I always like to base my quad drops off of one like main tune, and one tune that I can base it off of that I'll play throughout the whole like 1 minute video that I post. Um, And then usually I like to find a double for that. Let's say I find a solid double. Like the one that I told you, I think it was Portal by Murata with Labyrinth by Achios.
Absolutely. Yep.
Because you could tell, like, if you hear those two songs together, like, or even just separated, their flow is the exact same. So if you put them together and just take off the bass off of one of them and you play that shit live, it would go off. Like, no matter what, because both are very popular tracks by very popular artists. And you play that, it would go off. And like, once I find a double, then I'm like, okay, let me try and find a triple for this. Let me try and find a tune that maybe doubles with one of the first two that I found, and then branch off from there. Find a quad, and then maybe if it sounds good enough, or maybe if it doesn't sound good enough, sorry, then I'll find a fifth tune, and then a sixth one, and then yeah, I feel like I don't know how Squanto does his mega chop stuff, but I'm sure it's probably the same sort of strategy. But I could be wrong. But that's just my way of doing things.
Mm. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Are you? So what I'm hearing is you're going off of very much structure of the song.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Do you pay attention to pitch at the same time? Like where's your head up with that?
Well, at the beginning when I started doing these kind of quad drop videos, I didn't really look at like the keys or the pitches or anything like that. But recently, like if I see a track that's in C minor, then I'm gonna be looking for another C minor. But like let's say Welcome Tune by Versa is C minor, I think, or C, something like that. But it goes really well with Duel by Achios and Jube. And Duel is, I think, E sharp, I think. So they're two different, like, I haven't really looked into like that chart that has all like the key or the pitches on it. I don't know if you've seen it, but like a lot of producers.
So what does this look like? I'm not familiar.
Oh, it's like a circle graph that has like each like pitch on it, or each whatever it's called, like each letter, and what goes well with what kind of thing. But I never really got into that till like a week ago when like one of my producer friends showed me. But yeah, like because usually the way that I do it is I go in virtual DJ, and I just, if the key matches and I'm like, oh, okay, then it matches. But if it's like completely two different things and it works, I'm just like, okay, that's fine. So
I think that's a very important thing, because I feel like a lot of people get very stuck on the keys.
yeah,
Even if there's a double that could work, that's quite a quote unquote out of key, but it sounds right to the ear.
yeah, like if it sounds good, it doesn't have to be in the same key. Like it definitely helps, like, because sometimes if a song is doubled and they're in the same key, they're gonna sound the exact, like they're just gonna sound like on point together. But sometimes you'll get the odd occasion where they're not the same key. So like it's really dependent on how well it sounds and how good you think it sounds.
Mm.
Yeah.
And in your mixes, how are you choosing to structure? Because there's so much going on in a quad.
Mm-hmm.
How are you choosing to line up those quads back to back, or where are you placing the quads in a mix versus the solos? Like how do you like to structure that in your own mixes?
So for those quad drops, I like to, let's say I would have two songs playing like 16 bars before the drop, and then kind of line those up, beat match them. And then I would maybe, let's say there's like a vocal sample in the middle of the build up. Then I would chop it to where it would be, right? And then chop the other track out and have the vocal sample play and then come back up. I feel like it's those little things in the song where you chop them at the right point and chop it back up right on the kick, and it sounds like clean, is like, it's the little things that make a big difference, I feel like.
You definitely thrive there. That is like one of my favorite part of your mixes, because if you know all the songs, it's like I'm even getting chills just thinking about it, because like
right?
when you chop in the right way, you like hit so many samples, and I honestly just melt. And obviously you've seen the reaction video. That's what I do. I just melt to your type of mixes.
Like when people don't even know, like when I film those videos, like it takes me like probably, sometimes it takes me over 10 times to do it. Sometimes it takes me like first try. Like it really depends on how intricate that song is. Cause like if you're in the middle of a quad drop and then you miss like a delay drop in the middle of the song, then I'm like, ah, no, I got to start over. Like the
Mm,
littlest mistakes, like if the kick doesn't sound like if it's not beat matched properly, like even in the slightest, I restart because it's like I want it to be perfect. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
How do you balance perfection versus progress? Because a lot of people can get hung up on not making any mistakes. And you just said like if you make a mistake, you'll restart. Does that also affect you in any way? Are you very like persistent with when you stick to something, you just keep going until you get it right? Like where's your head at for that?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm not understanding.
Okay, so let's break this down into two parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfection first. So a lot of people can get stuck on perfection and never get started, and or just let it cripple them and they don't complete things.
Yeah.
Versus you said you want it to be perfect. Are
Yeah.
you truly focused on it being perfect, or are you trying to make a very, very high quality?
To be honest, I try to balance the two. Like let's say I've had a few quad drops in the past that weren't like the cleanest in terms of like beat matching, but the song choice was like on point. So it's like even if I did upload it, it just kind of it's like a lesson and experience for future ones. Where I'll be like, okay, I made this mistake in the last one. Then like, I'll make sure this time that it's on point and actually it sounds better. Um, like I've had a few quad drops that I wish I didn't upload, but
Mm,
did like really well. But it's like, and then I have some that I think, and some of my friends think that are just like my best quad drop ever, or whatever the case may be, and it doesn't get as much numbers. So honestly, it's like I care about numbers, but then not really. You know what I mean?
yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, for sure. But
I think that's also a testament to how quality is damn subjective.
yeah,
Something that you think could be your best might
yeah,
be what someone just thinks is the complete opposite, and vice
yeah,
versa. So
yeah,
I feel like that's an interesting point.
yeah.
For the perseverance, when you're making a mistake in a quad drop video, for example, or even in a mix, like how do you bounce back and how do you keep going without it negatively affecting you in your mood, in your mindset, what have you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, let's say if I upload a quad drop that's not the best and I notice it, it's like the messages that I get, like I said before, like the messages that I get daily of people just telling me like I'm their inspiration, and they base their entire like track list and the way their style just off of how I do it. It kind of puts it in the dust in a way and kind of puts it behind me, and it allows me to do better for the next one without having that, burden of the last one not being that good.
Mm,
Um, and then I make it sometimes like twice as better. So yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
yeah,
So like, as for your fans, man, I don't know if people like. I'll just speak for myself. Bro, you are like the real deal. Like you actually give so much of a fuck. It's beautiful. You are one of the most caring humans I have ever met. It's incredible how genuine you are and how much of a good soul you are. Like, were
thank you.
you always like this? Was this something you developed? Where did this come from?
I've always been like this. Like ever since I was a kid, like my parents taught me like just, be respectful and just be, you know, do good on to people that do good to you, or whatever the saying is. Um, but yeah, I just felt like ever since I was started this thing, I was like, you know what, no matter like how big I get or whatever the case may be, is always be humble and always be like true to yourself and never lose your head over, the numbers or, ego or anything like that. Because, it's just like there's too much of that in this community. And like there just has to be a lot more positivity and like, just people that'll bring up others, with you, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, was there something that your parents did? You said it was very parents based. Was there
Yeah.
something that they did when they were raising you to like? Did they plant a belief, a seed, where in addition to you always have to be like humble in nature and do the right thing? It sounds like you're also alluding to all that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
was there any more beliefs beyond that they planted in your mind?
Not really. Like it was just like not basic parenting, but it's just like, you teach your kids respect and teach them, how to, respect others, especially like that's number one is what I was taught is just respect. Um, and just being nice to other people and, being as positive as you can, even through like the worst times. Um, and yeah, yeah, it all just comes back to respect for me. That's
Mm.
number one in my books for sure.
So that's your number one credo above all. Like if you
Yeah.
were, and actually, how? Here's a good question: when you are being disrespected, how do you handle that?
I just sometimes I laugh. Sometimes I, I most of the time just shrug it off. I don't even like really care about it. I try not to care about it, get it like, mixed up in my head and try not to let it affect what I do. Um, but sometimes it slips through the cracks and might affect me a little bit. But
You're human. You're human.
yeah, of course. And then I just let it be, and I just go ahead and do my own thing.
Mm.
You know, so yeah, it affects me. Not gonna lie, haters. I know sometimes it gets to be sometimes, but all in all, I just keep my head forward and stay focused is the main thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when you're in a situation like that and you need to stay focused and put your head down, quote unquote, do you use work? Do you use this type of thing as an escape? Do you like how do you respond in those types of situations if something is like fucking with you? Are you going to call someone up? Are you going to put your head down and just go right to work? How do you bounce back from a situation like that?
Sometimes it's yeah, like if it does affect me, if there is a point where it does affect me, I kind of either just get back to DJ. Sometimes I just DJ like by myself. Sometimes I just DJ like tech house, just for an hour, just just because. Not even record it, no filming, nothing. Just because
Mm.
I've always loved tech house, so that kind of calms me. Or I just because it's usually where I do all my things music wise is like in my basement, so I kind of just leave it for a couple hours, go upstairs and see family and things like that. Always helps too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Are you close with your parents?
Oh yeah, very close. Yeah, very very
Has it
close.
have you always been good with them?
Oh yeah, yeah. Ever since day one. Yeah,
That's awesome. And they've
yeah.
always been like very supportive of the DJing and the production.
Eh.
What? How did that go? What was the day when they flipped over, quote unquote, if that was the case?
They never like flipped over about it. It's kind of just like a in progress thing because like once if only this virus wasn't a thing and I was actually getting bookings, you
Right,
know,
because you had and before this all went down, you had your first headline show at the end of March, right?
yeah, I was supposed to have it at a new club in Toronto, but of course that didn't work out because then bars started closing and things like that, unfortunately. And it just never happened because then 6 months of quarantine.
Does it feel like 6 months? It does not feel like it to
It
me.
doesn't like May and June, even July, like just went by like just like that for me.
Very fast for
Yeah.
me as well.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to think that we're already in September.
Yeah.
September 4th as we record this right now.
I can't believe it. It's
It's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
So
What a
going
waste of a
back
year.
to what do you say?
I said, what a waste of a year.
And yet I feel like you also made a good use of your time throughout quarantine. Like
Yeah.
you put on a clinic with the virtual shows, bro. Like
Like
you're going to town.
I know, like I have a live stream like for Headbangers Chili. Like as I'm recording this, I have one next week. Um, and I have like 3 or 4 or 5 more live streams that I gotta film still and things like that that are coming up that are huge. That are with Grimefest. If anyone knows Grimefest, they're in Texas, I believe. I might be getting that wrong, but yeah, they host shows out in Texas, and I'm on a few of their live streams. So
Mm.
can't say anymore.
How do you prioritize? Because you've got a lot going on at once, and even going back to the balancing, like what is your prioritization like for all of these different things going on at once? Whether that's like multiple songs in the works, because I think how many whips do you have currently? Like three?
One, okay, so I have the attitude one that I quote unquote just kind of teased out to everyone. I have the most recent one that I put out. I have a few collabs, so I have about like 5 or 6. I have like maybe half of those that I haven't shown to the public yet.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, that's all I have in the tank right now that I haven't shown anyone
And
yet.
okay. And for those types of projects, as well as like you've got 2 or 3 shows the next week or so, right?
About that, yeah.
How do you choose to prioritize all these different things at once?
Well, lately I've been kind of procrastinating them a little bit because like I've worked 5 days a week now. I work at Good Life, as we said. Uh, and like as soon as I get home, I'm just tired. Like I just don't want to do anything. But I kind of have to force myself to, you know, record these sets because it's a long process. I gotta make the track list. I gotta film it. I
Mhm.
gotta edit in my recently because I just got this green screen. So
Okay, yeah, I was curious. I wanted to see like what is the setup currently
yeah,
for that?
yeah. Here, I'm gonna show you. Hold on.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna try to. Okay, that's. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see it.
sweet. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I didn't even know the front was a green screen as well.
Yeah, so that's a green screen. They're two shades of green, so I kind of just show the back one.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, that's my setup for anyone wondering. But yeah, it's a whole process. Like I have to make the track list. I have to film it. I have to edit in the visuals to match like the way that the song comes in. Then I gotta render it, and that takes like 7 hours alone.
For the 1 minute video?
No, for the no, Jesus
I was
Christ.
gonna say.
No, for the 1 hour sets that I pre-record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
those
I
take
think
the longest.
Jesus Christ, sorry, dying on the water over here. Yeah, I think 7 hours is reasonable though for that. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the one video. I'm like,
No,
holy
geez.
shit, bro.
The
That
one
would
minute takes like a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes max.
okay, thank God.
Yeah,
That would
no.
that'd be a struggle and a half.
Yeah.
So when you get home, for example, like how do you motivate yourself to just like focus to get that energy back? Like what is your ritual for that if you have one?
Well, usually when I get home, I like to just chill for maybe like a few hours, kind of get just, de unload from work, a little bit. And then it really depends. Like sometimes I go into maybe I like to start finding another quad drop because I like to post those at least twice a week. Um, but it's mainly just like that unloading from work into going into music stuff is really critical for me because
Mm,
it changes the mindset in those 2 hours. It kind of helps me change gears, if that makes sense.
absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you doing in those hours to help you shift your mindset?
I literally just like either eat and just chill and just watch YouTube. That's all I do. Other than that, like people wonder what I do. I'm either sleeping or like just even just on SoundCloud sometimes I just sit there for a couple hours and I just look through like because on SoundCloud there's like a station option that you can, let's say I find like one song that I like, I just use the station option and it finds other songs that sound like that. And I just go through them and I find so much underground like
Mm.
riddim artists that have like a few hundred plays on SoundCloud, that are free downloads that I can just use for whatever. And people are like, yo, what's that? And it's like, oh yes, this song. You haven't heard of him? Well, no, he only has like a couple hundred followers. It's pretty cool, like the amount of music you can find. Like
I think, dude, the underground blows me the fuck away. It's amazing what is being produced right now.
that song that you showed me, the recent one, I think it's by Edit with a Y. It's
Yes, I
called
was just gonna ask you. I'm like, did you hear that motherfucker? Oh my god, he's got like
it's
800 followers, or whatever. That is a
yeah,
fucking
and that song doesn't even have like 1,000 plays on it. I don't think.
exactly. I'm like, when I found that, I'm like, wow, what is going on right now? It's
That's
crazy.
actually that song was actually that made me start the most recent clip that I posted. It's that was kind of the sound I was going for, that like that long like screechy bass.
Yeah, wait, sorry. The thing I linked you led to that whip you
Yeah,
posted.
yeah, exactly. That sort of idea
That's so exciting.
where it's
Yes.
like a vocal, and then like no sound, like no like leading sounds from the drop, and then literally just like drop, and then it just like, blah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the telephone rhythm.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like where that song is headed. I'm
It's sick.
intrigued to see what it'll look like at the time it's released.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to, you said you will spend time like just chilling, going on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's also related to what you're doing though, in terms of music. It's not just
Oh
like,
no, like
oh
sometimes
no.
no, like before, like I'd say like a year ago, I was like, well, I still do this. I still watch like maybe like a Lost Land set here and there just to kind of, because that also sometimes, brings up my inspiration and my motivation sometimes. Like watching Subtronics at Lost Lands 2019 was like the one I keep rewatching. Um,
That's a crazy one.
yeah, oh my god. And then like what made me go craziest was like every time I hear him play Discotheque with I think Projectile, that was that double that he played. I wasn't there, but like from the video that I've watched, oh, I keep rewatching that clip. It's so good, and like he goes off, and oh, it's so good, so good.
It is amazing. So wait, but this sounds like it's still very much part of your. I mean, you're technically subconsciously soaking in all of this inspiration. No,
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
are you doing anything else within that time in addition to just like watching your inspirations? And I want to touch on inspirations more in a
Yeah,
second. But
yeah, no, for
is there
sure.
anything else that's going on within that time that's going to prepare you for a successful how many other hours you have left in the day? Which, by the way, how many other hours do you have left in the day at this point? Like, what does the daily schedule look like for that?
Well, usually, so I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, during the week to go to work at 5:30. I start at 5:30 and then I finish at 12. And I still got like 8 hours before I go to bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I use the mostly like maybe like 2, 3 hours when I come home to chill and do my own thing, and then maybe another 3 hours to like work on music related stuff, whether that be like production or finding another potential quad drop or even just like messaging people or whatever the case may be, or promotion. Um, and then like maybe like the last hour before I go to bed, I just kind of unload once again from the music side of things and then watch more YouTube and then I go to
Mm,
bed. That's basically how it is during the
okay.
week. Yeah.
And do you have like any morning or nightly rituals or anything like that, or any daily rituals that you make sure you do every single day, anything like that?
I've been trying to work out every single day. It's kind of hard. I used to work out like almost every single day, like 5, 6 days a week, like 6, 7 years. No, no, that's too long. Like 5 years ago or something like that. I used to go to the gym with my dad like every morning that's near me. Uh like at 4:30, and it was very motivating, but it kind of fell off
Mm,
because because then work came into the picture and then school, and then it was like, I don't want to go to the gym. It's like I do it on and off. Like I did a home workout for the first time in like a couple weeks, maybe a month, like 2 days ago, and I'm still sore from it. So
mm.
I'm trying. We're all trying.
Yeah, it is especially tough throughout the 2020 quarantine. For me, like I only work out a couple, 2, 3 times a week right now. Just hit like basically every body part at
Yeah,
least
that's good.
once,
That's good.
and just for maintenance purposes. I'm not looking to like
Yeah.
bulk right now, but
No. Yeah.
fuck, it is.
Maintaining.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough though. Like I respect that people are able to seriously keep this shit up throughout quarantine.
Yeah.
I almost lost all motivation until August, but
I feel
yeah.
that.
So I have empathy for where you're coming from 100%.
The exact same.
So inspirations wise, who are your biggest inspirations right now?
So my top three, Subtronics, Squanto, and Cod Dubs. Those are my
Mm.
top three right now.
And those are
Um,
all your main three for DJing and production, or where's your breakdown with that?
um,
So I'd probably ask a different question. What are your top three for production, and what are your top three for DJing?
so those three are my for DJing purposes. Obviously, Squanto because of the Mega Chop and what he does and his ability, as well as Subtronics and like the funny like riddim. I think he calls him riddim is silly that he puts on his Instagram where he does like the one finger or the one hand chops. Like those are next level. And obviously COD dubs dropping like triples and quads like live at live shows. Um, yeah, those are my top three DJs that I look up to. Funny enough, two of them have hit me up. Oh well, actually, well yeah, Squanto. We've been talking for a little bit, and he's a really cool guy. Even Matt COD Dubs. I haven't like personally talked to him yet, Yet. I say
But he
yet.
just followed you yesterday, right? Or
He
something
did,
like
yeah,
that.
and like he commented on my video saying "sick one killer" or something like that.
That's
Um,
fucking sick. I'm man for you.
it's crazy. Like, and then the only person like the day that Jesse or Subtronics notices me, like that's gonna just bro, like he's like number one out of those three. He's number one for sure.
What makes him number one for you in that ranking?
I don't know, like just his like my whole DJing like style, like the way that I do what I do is based off of how he does like maybe a delayed drop into like another delayed drop, and it's just I don't know. I based it off of that, and I was like, how can I make this better? It's like, okay, let me add like maybe 4 more tunes on top of that. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
That's super cool. How does it feel to become? And I'll come back to your production inspirations in a moment. But
Yeah.
how does it feel to slowly become friends with the people that have inspired you to DJ?
It's a weird feeling. Um, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it doesn't hit me, but like, and I don't really like. Of course, I'd notice it, but I don't know. It's kind of like normal to me. I don't know if that kind of sounds weird. Makes me sound like a big deal, but I'm not. Um, like especially now knowing like I can like I've talked to like Riot 10 and like Al Ross, like because there was one time I think it was last month where I posted on Facebook something like I felt unmotivated to do anything, and literally like 2 or 3 minutes after I posted that, like Al Ross literally video called me, and then like and he's telling me like, oh, love your style, and never give up, because he's having like he was been at that time he was having like a rough like few months beforehand, and like I don't know, it's enlightening, and it's like it's weird,
Do
but
you
I
find
love it.
it very surreal?
Oh yeah, it's like something that I was like dreaming about like past like ever since I started this like 7 years ago. Like
So way back in, wait, hold up, 7 years ago.
yeah,
Back in
it
what
was like
actually we didn't touch on this. What year did you actually like make the jump to DJ?
2014.
2014. So this
Yeah.
was was this after your first rave?
Uh, okay, I might have gotten that wrong. Did I say 2014? I'm tired. I'm sorry.
It's don't worry about it, bro.
I think it was. I remember Mount Woozy was not my first one, and that was 2015. And that was in September. That was September of that year. And Veld is, I think, August of every
Yeah.
year. I think. So, yeah, it was
So you
20.
started before you started raving, quote unquote.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And
Oops. Sorry.
before that you were DJing rap or
I was just like on and off. Like my main thing was house. Like I was uploading like what I call this is house to my SoundCloud. Like 1 hour mixes. It got like maybe 50 plays, maybe. Not even that. And then, I think I got up to like 26 or 27 episodes, and they're like all an hour each. So like if anyone wants like a day of house music, it's on my SoundCloud, literally. But yeah, so
in there do you like struggle with that, because I know how much you love house and tech house and stuff like that. Do
yeah.
you feel like you are being confined to one niche at times ever, and does that ever mess with you at all, fuck with your headspace?
Not really, because even in like well, lately I've been playing like all my sets, like live stream sets, like all dubstep. But as you heard in Headbangers 12, I did have like a slower section in the middle. I was gonna do like some house, but I was like, okay, it's a Headbangers Only mix. I'm not gonna throw house in there. Um, but kind of like just how like Excision structures his sets. He has a section where it's like dubstep, heavy stuff, and then like he might go into like trap for like one song or two songs, and then like mid set he might throw in like a jumpy like that song by Sullivan King, Step Back, I think it's called. He might go into something like that. So that's kind of how I like to base it off of, because I don't like to be structured as just dubstep and rhythm, even though that's what I've been doing this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like, let's say when I go back to doing like live shows once this whole thing's up, I'm gonna have like maybe 2 or 3 like house drops in there. Whether that be like, I don't know about tech house because I don't think that would really fit that much, but like I would throw like that Sullivan King track, for example, something bouncy that's also heavy at the same time. So that's kind of how I like to do it.
Yeah, it's like a heavy house, that those types of tracks,
Heavy
or
house.
like kaiju, or however you say that
Danger, yeah,
track.
by Space Laces, yeah.
Yeah. By
Something
the
like
way,
that.
how for on like a very practical level, how do you switch up a track from 150? I don't know, what do you mix in 150?
Yeah, I make some 150, yeah.
How do you change that up from going from 150 to 126 like that?
So what I like to do is, let's say I want to go from a 150 to a 130 or a 128. I usually like to find a track because like some tracks go like the first drop is 150 or 145 or whatever it is around that. And then I don't know if you hear like some tracks like the second or third drop go into like it goes slower and then it goes into like 130, 128. Like there's a song by Taboo. It's called Dashigo VIP. And the buildup is literally like it goes like fast and then it just goes slower, slower, slower until 128. And then let's say like my most recent mashup is that Taboo song going into Hustle by Heritage. And that,
Oh, that
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yes, I
how
know
I do it.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I usually like to find a song that does that already for me because there are songs out there like that. So I just take advantage of it and I just edit in the 128 track in.
So is it, for someone like that, do you have to make it like a pre-done mashup type of thing so it's not fucking with BPM?
You don't have to, like, you can literally just do it live on your CDJ or whatever it is. You can literally just lower down the fader. Like if the buildup is like long enough, you can slowly just go down to 128 and then, just do it that way. Um, but like for me, like for my sets, like the amount of tunes that I drop, I'd rather just have that ready and like just throw everyone off and just go crazy to it without having to worry about any buttons. It's like it's amazing. It's a lot easier for me. So yeah,
Yeah, no, I respect it. Like, dude, I
yeah,
think there's like this there's this preference for some people, especially DJs, to do every little thing live,
yeah,
and there's obviously like a hate of the sync button, for example. And I think there's, if you're able to just do a few things prepared ahead of time, you can just do a lot more in the live set. I
yeah.
find so like, and I also just love watching you go to town. For example, like downward guns, your downward guns, fuck, and then the high knees. Both of those
Oh
two
yeah, man.
fucking kill me.
That's my signature moves, man. I mean,
Where the
everyone does
fuck did
that.
those come from, by the way? Like,
I don't.
especially the downward guns. I have no idea where that came from.
I don't know. I just started doing it one day, and I was like, "All right, this looks cool on camera." And with the effects, I'm like, "All right, let's just keep doing it." And that was just like my natural move when I hear rhythm. I don't know.
It makes a ton of sense. I like do some really fucked up things when rhythm comes on. So it
I
just
know, right?
like, it takes over you in such a fun and weird way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and the high knees were just like a natural thing, but I knew that was like the national dance to rhythm anyway. Like it was just like the high knee thing. So I was like, oh, whatever. And it was fun. Like it's
Yeah.
fun. And it's cardio for me. So fuck it.
Cardio.
It is.
It is big facts.
People keep commenting on my videos. They're like, oh yeah, he's doing a DJ video and working out. Yeah. I do sweat like a shit ton when I do those. So
Makes a ton of sense. You're going to fucking town.
yeah.
So I also listened to your recent, oh fuck, what was it? The whatever you uploaded earlier this week. What was that called?
Which one?
The what you put on your YouTube.
Oh, the Unity 2.0 set, the 1 hour thing that I uploaded. Yeah.
Yeah.
I uploaded that for everyone.
Related to the house stuff, I found that you ended that in a really, really cool way.
Yeah, with the like the experimental kind of feelsy kind of like blunts
Yeah.
and blondes feel. Yeah, yeah. I
So
really do like that kind of music too.
are we gonna should we expect more of that in the future? And going back to actually the niche question of like, do you feel like you're in this specific niche and you can't do anything beyond that? is this your way of showing people that you're not just quads, you're not just go
Exactly.
hard?
Yeah, exactly. Like, not only am I gonna probably experiment that, not probably, I will experiment with that sort of genre even on like the production side of things as well, because I am really into like that kind of experimental, like feelsy, like that kind of music as well. So definitely expect that more. Like even some D&B as well. You might even see some D&B from me as well. But we'll see.
Yes.
Because it takes, it takes, like I said, it takes a certain headspace to get into production for me. So it's like, I'm not saying expect it soon, but expect it.
Oh, so wait, do you mean not only just in your sets, but actually making this?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Both. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I would love to see D&B, especially from you. And
Yeah.
I would also like to see how, because I'm not a tech house person, but
Yeah.
because you love it so much, I want to
I've
see
never
what
done,
your,
I've
that'd
never
be,
done, I've never even tried producing house yet. So
hmm.
yeah, who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
Eventually, bro. Like at some point, at a certain point, you weren't able to produce dubstep either. So
Exactly.
you'll get there.
It's one day at a time kind of thing,
Mm. And
Yeah.
going back to production, how many years are you at right now with production or months?
Oh,
You're at
uh,
like
2 years, 3 years, maybe something like that.
solid.
I don't think three, probably two, close to three. Yeah.
And for you, the jump to go from only DJing to DJing in production, what was the specific moment? I know where your head's at with that, but I want to know like, if was there some sort of like person that you looked at, some sort of event that triggered like, oh shit, I need to start
Yeah.
today type of thing.
No, like I don't know. It was just like kind of a combination of moments where like I would see like COD Dubs post like a chop video or something of him doing something like that live, and then I'd listen to his music that's also like really good. Um, same thing with Subtronic, same thing with Squinto. Like they not only do they DJ really good, but they produce like really well. And I've just always been told like if I want to go to that next level, I got to start making my own music because then people are going to hear my original tunes, be like, I wonder like how he would sound in a show, and then that would link them to my DJing stuff. Um, so that's kind of it was just a combination of a bunch of moments that happened.
Mm.
Yeah.
Was when people said that this would be required to level up to that degree you're looking for, was
Yeah.
it people that you look up to, like your inspirations?
It was not really. No, it was just like my friends, like my close friends, just telling me like, yeah, if you want to get to play Lost Lands and things like that, like you're gonna have to have some original songs to play. Like it's just like kind of sort of mandatory in a way. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So yeah,
absolutely. And by the way, that's great that they're not just like yes manning you and actually like keep giving it to you real. Like, when you're surrounding yourself with people, are you purposely choosing these types of people? Like, do you have a process for how you select who's in your life and who isn't? What's your process for that?
well, I like to keep my circle small. I don't really allow too many people in, at least as of recently, because like I have a set mindset, and it's just like people that don't really have the same mindset. I'm not like go away, but like I'm just like I don't really talk to them as much. Like I had a lot of good friends from high school that I'm kind of sort of drifting apart from, which I noticed, but it's like, we just have different mindsets, and it's like it's okay. Like I'm not, of course it's like kind of sad, but it's like, you know, I have my own goals, and they have their own goals, and it's just like, um but I'm not really, I am, I guess, picky, I guess you could say. Um but yeah, usually I like to just surround myself with like-minded people, things like that. Um
So is it necessarily like they have to be into music, or is it like a growth mindset? Like, what are some things you're looking for when you are selecting?
um I don't know. It's like, yeah, I mean, if we have the same, like I have a lot of friends now that, that are even like they said that I'm their inspiration, that I talk to on a daily basis. Um yeah, I guess like obviously the same love for music as I do and things like that, and have the same sort of mindset. Yeah. Guess you could say that. You were right on the hitting the nail on the head there.
As for you're also mentioning like different types of goals, and you've been alluding to that you've been visualizing this for a long time. What's
Yeah.
your visualization practice look like?
I always just remind myself of like how far I've gone and or how far I've gotten and like the amount of progress and things like that. And like that if you just keep your head straight and just focus and determined and just stay passionate, that you can really, do big things. And like it's like one of my main goals too is like to perform at Veld one day, whether that be like main stage or whatever. And it's just like if you can see it, then it can happen. So it's like as long as you keep your grind going and things like that, then you can get there.
Very important, especially that last bit that you just said right there, like matching and pairing the visualization with the day-to-day actions that are going to
Yeah.
get you to that spot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Plus,
For sure.
it also makes the visualization easier when you're acting on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Yeah. What else can I say? So inspirations for production. We've taken a nice little scenic route to get to that, but who are your inspirations for the production?
For production lately, it's been definitely Akios. Akios for sure. Anything Akios that comes out is just I don't know. He just always blows my mind every single time. As well
These
as Versa.
bananas.
Yeah, oh yeah, literally bananas.
Oh, I said the thing. We had to come to that after.
But yeah, Akios Versa has a lot of amazing things coming out as well that obviously I haven't heard yet, but like he uploaded, I think it was called Bluetooth, I think on his SoundCloud. Oh, so good. So good. Subtronics I know is sitting on a shit ton of IDs that he's played out like at like Digital Mirage and things like that. And trying to think who else. Akios Versa, Subtronics, Voltra is also a big one. Phonon, Crippling is also really good. He's an up and comer. I think he's like 16 or something, 15, something like that.
The underground, I swear they're all like 12 years old.
They're
It's
great.
crazy.
Yeah, like even like more Kismet's like
Yes.
14 or 15, something like that. Like, and he's
Oh God.
released on Never Say Die Black Label. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So much respect for these young guns just putting in work and creating such innovative sounds.
Yeah,
It is inspiring. Even as someone who doesn't make music, I love listening to people that are so young and
yeah.
so on point. My God.
And like seeing like certain like producers like work patterns too. It's like you expect like certain things from these bigger artists and they do it like a completely different way and like in their own way that you didn't think would, be possible. But it's like it works and it sounds like really good. You're like,
Mm.
yeah, it's like sometimes you don't have to follow what other people are doing. You should just do your thing. And if it sounds good and people like it, then just keep doing it.
Whose workflows have you been privileged to see? And
Well,
what have you taken the most inspiration from? Whether it's your friends, like
yeah.
what's his name? Blank Space, for example.
Yeah.
Like who's helped you the most with production so far on this type of thing?
Blank Space has helped me out a lot. Shout out Blank Space. Stoned Level as well. Stone Level's a really good friend of mine, and he's like I've shown him a few IDs, and he's helped me like thoroughly. He's not just one of those guys that say, "Yeah, sick man." You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
like literally went in depth, like saying like, "Oh, this sounds too high," or your kick needs to come through more. Things like that. Trying to think. Him, Hamro as well. Hamro's a really good friend. Um, yeah, like people like that. I watch a few. I don't watch them enough, but I need to watch more like Virtual Riot live streams that he does, like production live streams. Like I know Akio Squanto has done some as well on YouTube. Um, I know that More Kismet has his own way of like mastering certain tunes, and it's like you never think like he uses literally like the minimalist like amount of things, but it sounds so good. It's crazy,
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah, he has a really good output to his songs.
Yeah,
It's very like this is more when you're listening to it.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so with what was I about to say? Oh yeah, bananas. That's where we're gonna go. What is the origin of bananas? You love to say this. Spam bananas in the chat in literally every stream I've ever seen from you.
Yeah.
Where did that start? Why do you keep it up? Etc.
Well, So funny enough, it actually started. I was because I have all this hair and like I got mustache and whatever. I'm just a hairy guy. So all my friends all my friends on Xbox used to call me literally like, as a joke, they used to call me a monkey or whatever, right? Just like, it's funny, right? Like I was just playing along with it, whatever. And then, and then they make the jokes, obviously a monkey in the jungle, and they call me Tarzan and all that stuff is funny. But then I think it was one live stream. I forget what it was. It was like a few months ago. And I think I don't know if it was someone in the chat that put like bananas. I think it was one of my friends that actually started calling me a monkey and things like that. He like put the banana emoji, and I was like, oh, let's just stick with that. And then yeah, and that kind of became my thing. And like I know that there's not really any other artist that in the game right now that has like bananas as their like main thing. Like obviously like Dirt Monkey and things like that probably have, obviously a monkey, so bananas and things like that, right? But to have like your main thing is bananas, I think I'm one of the only ones, if not the only one. I think I could probably say that.
I'm almost positive you are the only one from what I've seen, at least.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, sorry. I think you're on spot on with that. And it's so random if you don't know. I think it's hilarious though. It's like, and the fans have like adapted. They love the bananas.
Yeah,
it's great to see.
And that's kind of just like became my thing over time. And it's like weird because like now I'm in the making of this. I'm getting a new logo made for me, and it has like bananas on it. It's really cool. I can't wait to show it.
That's fucking awesome. That's so sick, bro. At some point, you've got to like start throwing. You know how like Wooly throws Capri Suns out in the crowd?
Yeah. I should just throw banana peels or something, or just bananas.
Just a bunch. Yeah, just chuck them in the crowd. You mentioned Xbox, for example. How do you find that? Because it wasn't just like us gaming; it was us being like super fucking creative, and because we were. If you were not around for those types of days, which many people are not familiar, but we would spend so much time gaming, collecting what we called clips, and then we would pair them all together into like very like well put together, not necessarily just like montages, but like episodes is what they're called, because they ended up being like works of art, quite frankly, especially if you had a really good editor. I know, bro. Like I tried to explain this to someone because I was primarily an editor, and it's not just like making a montage or throwing clips together. It was literally about me. How can I make this a beautiful X amount of minutes, 1, 2, 3, and just it was pure art. And I still like look back on my edits and I'm like, holy fucking shit. But for you specifically, how do you find that the creative time throughout Xbox and YouTube gaming prepared you for what you're going through right now? Any like linked mindsets, any linked patterns?
Well, I mean, like I wasn't really like the main editor for all my episodes when I did release them, or when I was getting them made. I always had like someone else making them for me. But sometimes I wouldn't have an editor at the time, and I would need to release it like within that week or whatever, just for my own sake, not because I was in a team, but I was just like, I want to release this, and I had the clips ready. So I was like, I'm just going to edit it. And at the time, not this computer, but I had an old computer that had Sony Vegas and After Effects on it. And still use that's how I shout out Sony Vegas.
That was the OG for me too.
Yeah, right. And yeah, like I just picked up the patterns, and that's how I edit my quad drop videos and my sets. Is I use Sony Vegas.
Oh my god, you still use it? I thought you were for sure on Premiere.
No. I still use Sony Vegas. Sony Vegas.
That's
Pro
gangster.
12. Yep.
I love that. So the video editing absolutely transferred.
Oh, for sure. And just like the whole just structuring, like the structure of it, and making sure things are like right when the kick hits, and like, just the little things. Even like before I had the green screen and I had those like few effects in there, like the flicker effects and things like that, made a huge difference. So, yeah.
In addition to the video editing, is there specifically like being on YouTube? Were there making content consistently? Are there things like that also, and actually also going back to like being the center of attention? Did you get a taste of that with YouTube where you're like, fuck, I want more of this?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like even before like the Call of Duty stuff, I was also actually, after the Call of Duty stuff, I started making Minecraft videos, funny enough.
What a
Yeah,
great game. What a
it's
great game.
oh yeah, even now, like sometimes I just play it, but then like 5 minutes I'm like into it. I'm like, what am I doing?
That is the story of my life right there with gaming. Like
Like I
it's
just
such a sick you go.
I, I just get bored and I'm just like, oh, let's just play some Minecraft because I've been watching a lot of Minecraft on YouTube lately, like just random YouTubers like Dream and all these people, and it's like it's kind of fun. Let me go try it, and then I'm like, I'm breaking cobblestone, and I'm like, what am I doing?
So do you find that you need to have like a purpose behind what you're doing to
Oh yeah,
truly
for
enjoy
sure.
it?
Like, because I know the Minecraft YouTuber that I watch does like a lot of challenges where he's uh like a bunch of his friends, like if they kill him, then they win, but if he kills the Ender Dragon, then he wins. So I was like, I'm just gonna see how fast it takes me, and I'm like, yeah, it's like I said, I'm breaking wood, and I'm like, what am I doing?
That is
just
hilarious.
it was just fun to watch. But yeah, there was a period where I did play Minecraft and I would record like Minecraft survival games and like upload one every single day, literally. And I had over like 100 episodes, and they were like 10 minutes long each.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but I
So,
privated them all now because they're all cringe and I don't like them. Funny.
was something like that, that's something that taught you consistency with
Yeah.
content?
Oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure, for sure. Yeah, like, and like I use the same like intro, like it was just like yeah, the structure of it and consistency and releasing them like on a daily basis, if not like a weekly basis. Um, yeah, like even like I also did like Grand Theft Auto 5 like funny moments with all my friends sometimes, and they would get like more views than the Minecraft ones, but those would take longer. I was like, oh, I gotta film another one because this one's getting like attention. Like, oh, the editing. Oh. But yeah, man, just thinking about that's just like, oh,
I know. It was such a fun time, but like personally I can't get into gaming the way like it's some a period like that will only be a one-time thing.
exactly.
And
It's only
it's
meant
very
for that time
nostalgic.
and that time only.
Exactly. Like I can't get behind the idea of getting excited about gaming for X amount of even just a few minutes a day. I gamed for the first time last week. I played fucking Fall Guys and played
Oh my
Xbox
god.
for the first time in like 5 years. It was so fucking fun. But if I had one of those in my house, I would just be like, why am I doing this right now?
I want to play Fallout Guys like a lot, but like I think it's only PlayStation, isn't it?
Correct. I didn't mean actual Xbox. I meant just gaming
Oh,
in general. But
oh okay.
it was like fun, and I'm like, fuck, this could be a real fucking time waster if I ever like got something
Yeah,
like this. It's
yeah,
it's fun, but fuck, it's a lot more fun being productive on the
yeah.
right things.
Sure, like that's what happens when I play Minecraft. The times where I get bored and I play Minecraft, and that's why I'm like, I could be using this time to do something else, like more productive, and not
Mm,
breaking cobblestone.
I get it. I get it a lot. Do you have musical interests beyond tech house and beyond? Do you still yeah, can't speak. Do you still listen to rap and
Oh
anything
yeah,
like that?
oh yeah. I still listen to rap. I still listen to hip hop. I still listen to like people like Lil Skies, and I've been listening to a lot of Kid Leroy lately. The Kid Leroy actually released a new album. That shit's on repeat. Like I love that album so much, like from start to finish. Um, People like Juice World, things like that. Even like the old Chris Brown is really good as well. Like
Mm,
I've been listening to Chris Brown ever since I was a kid. So like
mm.
early teens and things like that as well. So Chris Brown and like Frank Ocean and trying to think who else. Yeah, but like Chris Brown mainly. Yeah.
So when you listen to music, you're not just listening to dubstep and rhythm.
Oh no, but like when I'm working out lately, I just listen to like Kid Leroy. So I just listen to like hip hop and
That's
like
sick.
yeah,
Interesting. I
yeah.
listen to you when I work out, so
Oh shit. Headbangers
bro, it's
12?
I was listening to that today. I was just like, wow, I forgot how good this is. Just a pure melt. And I also listened to the Unity 2.0 as well. And I was just like, boy,
Yes, sir.
boy, this is crazy.
Represent.
What else can I say, bro? Music wise, guess we covered a bunch of music things. Skill versus talent. What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe in like God-given talent versus developing a skill? Like, where's your mindset with that?
Because a lot of people ask me about that actually. Like, like, how do you get so good? Like, what do I need to do to, drop that many songs at once or whatever? And like, I feel like partly it is like not a God-given talent, but it's like, I feel like it is a skill, but it's like, I feel like anyone can do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it was just like how Squanto and Subtronics and those kind of people started off was like, you know, they started off from, not being able to even beat match two tracks together like properly, to like doing the amount of shit that they do in an hour. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
feel like it's just a process and like one day at a time. And it's like if you're consistent with it and you put in, X amount of time into it, then like you can get just as good as me. You just gotta put, you know, your 100% into it. When that time comes, like when you are actually practicing, like actually like take in everything that you're doing and like listen back to those mixes and be like, okay, this sounded good, or this didn't sound too good. Let me try this, and then blend it all together,
Mhm.
kind of thing. Yeah.
I like it. So when you first started, what would you rank yourself as in terms of skill, or not rank, but how would you
Like,
say
base
you
myself.
were? Yeah, were you good? Were you okay? Were you okay?
It was all right. Like, it was just like how everyone else started off. Like I was doing like especially when I started doing the dubstep stuff, it was just like, oh, like throwing elbows into another song. I still do that now, actually.
I was just
With
gonna say you have that in the mix right now, don't you?
yeah, like I still do that. So, but it's because it sounds good. Like if it sounds good, then I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it, right? Um, but yeah. So
Okay. And cool. I feel like there's one more thing. I'm just gonna quickly look at my
mhm.
notes. Oh yeah, sacrifice. How
Yeah.
much have you sacrificed to get here right now?
Um, long story short, a lot. um, long story. I don't know. I definitely sacrificed a lot of family time for sure. Uh, and a lot of you know, hanging out with friends time because I've definitely been asked to go places with friends, like to a bar, like before this whole virus stuff happened. Um, out to a party or things like that. But I always decline because it's like, I don't know, instead of me partying, I could be doing production or I could be, working on a track list for a live set. You know what I mean? And I just wouldn't be in the
Absolutely.
right I wouldn't be in the right like headspace when I'm there and I wouldn't enjoy myself. So yeah. So I just kinda try to juggle it, but it's like most of the time I just, either say, "Oh, I can't go," or I'm just like, "Oh, I got something else I gotta do," or whatever. So yeah, I do like to party when it comes to partying. I do like to party, but yeah, I try to minimize it. At least lately, I like to
Mhm.
minimize it a lot. Yeah.
I feel you a ton there. That has been what I immediately kicked as well when I wanted to get more serious about stuff. I was like, all right, see you later, family and friends. I love you all, but like
Yeah.
I need to love myself first here. And
Yeah.
like
Like
that,
yeah.
you go. You were
Yeah.
gonna
No.
say.
Like. Don't get me wrong. I do like spending time with family stuff like that. I still do that.
Yeah,
Of course. Like, but yeah, I just number one for me at the moment is like obviously family and friends, but also music. I want it to be up there. You know what I mean? For sure. Uh,
absolutely.
that's like what I want to do. So you know.
I 100% get it. And yeah, like I didn't imagine you completely punted everything, but I imagine, like you were saying before, with the friends that are not on the same type of wavelength as you, it's reduced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And also, like what you were saying, it sounds like you are going based on what gives you the most joy, what gives you most pleasure, and what you love the most, which is obviously to progress within your music.
For sure, like, that's, like, my number one thing right now, like I said, like, I could go out with friends and spend time with friends and things like that, but it's like, I just have, like I'm always thinking about the next thing. I'm always thinking about, like, "Okay, I have a live set tomorrow night, but instead of me being out here chilling with friends, drinking, whatever, I could be" I'm always thinking about the next thing. Like, that's kinda how I work, and yeah, that's just how I work.
Mm, I like that.
Yeah.
What is your biggest motivation right now? Is it that what you just said?
Yeah.
Like what is driving you right now the most?
Definitely want like my dreams of like, so I have a couple things on my bucket list. Uh so one of them is obviously to play at Veld in Toronto for sure, whether that be main stage, side stage, whatever, third stage, whatever it is. Um like things like playing at Ever After or playing Il Sonique, things like that. I feel like those now are definitely in the picture and definitely possible of happening. Um, and another one is doing a North American bus tour, like literally just getting. My dream is to like get like an RV, like rent out an RV with the bunk beds and the kitchen and stuff, and just get like 10 of my friends and just for like 2 3 months just do a show like almost every night and just you know just kind of travel the world that way. And I think that's very possible. I think now, um, obviously, once COVID's done, hopefully I can get something going, especially in the States as well. Because I know a lot of people want me in like Chicago and Washington and like Missouri and things like that. It's crazy. Like everywhere. They want me every. You guys want me everywhere. Like it's crazy. Oh my god.
It's
Just to see
fucking
me
beautiful
like
to watch.
yeah, just to see me. They want to see me in person, like the chops that I do. Like it's weird. It's weird, but it's a good weird. It's a good weird. Don't worry.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, I absolutely see you there. It's not even an if, it's a when. And
When?
I
Yeah.
absolutely see you there in the near future. And I will be also visualizing that for you. But
Yes.
I am going to let you go now. I think we're at like 120 or something like that. But I have loved this conversation. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Of course, man.
Where can people
Likewise.
find you for social media and all that jazz?
So Instagram, Twitter, at DJ uSAYbFLOW. Same thing with Facebook, DJ uSAYbFLOW. I have at the time of this recording, Miles VIP is coming out next Thursday. Probably might be out by the time this is out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but yeah, got a lot of things coming up, and I hope you guys are ready. I'm going to be premiering for the people in Toronto. I'm going to be premiering something that a lot of people have been wanting, and I just got art done for it. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be happening end of October, most likely for Halloween. But that's all I'm going to say. Uh, yeah, it's going to be sick. I can't wait.
Awesome, bro. As always, love you fucking tons. Believe in you so much. I really wanted to have you on this podcast because I just so believe in where you're headed. And it's just amazing that the right I love so much when the right people win, people with really, really good intent.
Oh yeah,
And I admire so much your genuineness as well, and how much of a great human being you are, in addition to being such a skilled human being. And matching those together is, I think, going to put you in the territory that, like we were talking about, like the rankings and stuff like that for people that inspire you the most. Like, bro, you're already like a top 3 riddim DJ for me. So you're just gonna keep. You're so welcome, and you're just gonna keep climbing with as your production progresses, and your DJing is all just going to propel you to achieve all your goals. So I'm looking forward to.
I can't wait to finally like perform for you guys. Like
I know, I fucking can't wait either.
I can't wait because like it's just sucks that this had to all happen during such a weird time that the world's in. But I know that first like few shows, that first show, like once things get back to normal, kinda, it's gonna be like next level. I'm gonna make sure it's like worth the wait. All these months, I'm gonna make sure it's worth it.
It absolutely will be.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too, man.
Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed this, if you want to see more positivity, optimism-based content like this, self-growth content, I make a lot of long-form stuff, obviously. The interviews, the podcasts, the solo casts, the weekly vlogs. I make a lot of stuff like this. So if you enjoy it, if you're getting value from it, if you're finding this useful in any way, form, or shape, definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're on YouTube, I would love if you could leave a like down below. Help support the channel, as well as tell me that there is something valuable that you're getting from this, but only if you felt it was valuable to you. If you could also comment as well what your biggest takeaway was, and or your favorite part, that would be awesome to hear that as well. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please give me a 5-star rating and or whatever rating you felt it earned. Anyways, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope this interview / hangout was entertaining, and definitely be sure again to subscribe, like, comment, do all the things. It helps me support everything going on here. And without further ado, be a good human being, sacrifice long-term for the right things, do what you feel is right, be respectful to others, and I will catch you in the next one.